Good evening, fellow Biafrans all over the world. I welcome all of you to this evening space. This is official press briefing by the Prime Minister of Biafra on the Biafra government ready to rectify the United Nations international human rights treaties during the Biafra Convention in Finland. Success, I don't know, can you hear me? Is my voice coming out?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, you are very loud.
Good evening. Was the national anthem out? Did you hear that?
Yes. Everything was perfect.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. The media teams are very busy at this point, and they're going to join us along the way. But because of our time and engagement, we've decided to come to this particular space this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you are listening from. So I welcome every one of you, fellow Biafrans, friends, well-wishers, and lovers of freedom. I want you to understand that the Biafra government will offer alternative to what Nigeria deprived you. And one of the alternatives we are offering to the Biafra people is the ratification and assent to the United Nations human rights treaties. This will be rectified during the convention to form a legal base for the Biafra government recognition by United Nations and beyond. Like I have informed you all, for those who do not know what we are doing and why this convention is very important at this point and why it has become the only pathway to Biafra freedom. For those who will be wondering, what are they doing? Why are they declaring or why are they having convention in exile? That's why we are called the government in exile. So we will restore the lost sovereign state of Biafra from exile. And if you do not know, for those asking who have done it before, we are laying the precedents for others to follow. Those who care, they will learn from us. So, my fellow Biafrans, first of all, I would like to give a little background on the importance of Biafra government providing alternative to the human right which Nigeria terrorist government has violated with impunity. Every one of you remember when one of the UN working group called Working Group on Arbitrary Detention demanded the release of Nnamdi Kanu and mandated Nigeria terrorist state to release him within 6 months. After this particular ultimatum was given by a UN certified group called the Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, monetary compensation was also awarded by this group. Nigeria snubbed, ignored, and violated this ultimatum. And so I would like to start laying this background of the importance of the assent or ratifying the Treaty of the United Nations and abide by it, which Nigeria have violated for decades with impunity. So Biafra will be a better alternative for every humankind who wish to be in a civilized world. And Biafra will be a model for other African states who are tyrannic, who does not know the rule of law, who are not democratic, Biafra will be a model for them to learn. So when we ratify these treaties, we will make sure that Biafra become the only African country that will lay a foundation and make a model for other countries to learn. So, and by doing that, it will go a long way in restoring peace, lasting peace in Africa when others learn how to abide by the rule of law and also how to abide and respect the treaties that you signed into law as a country and as a state. Any country without rule of law, any country that does not respect constitution, that country is bound to fail. And that's why Nigeria has failed. Nigeria has no rule of law. Nigeria does not respect its so-called constitution. Nigeria does not respect any treaty that they have signed into law. Nigeria does not respect the United Nations Convention on Human Rights. Nigeria does not respect any agreement whatsoever they are into. And so that is the reason for the anarchy. That is the reason for the insecurity. Apart from the Islamic State agenda, this is the backbone of the insecurity today in Nigeria. That's why Nigeria has become ungovernable and Nigeria has become a failed state, because they do not have the rule of law and they do not respect their own law, not to talk of treaties they are assented to. Biafra will provide a solution. One of the solutions is we will abide by these rules and norms of international treaties and convention that we will be ratifying during the convention in Finland. So, what is the working group that gave Nigeria ultimatum to release Nnamdi Kanu that they kidnapped from Kenya, extraordinarily rendition to Nigeria under torture, inhuman treatment, degrading treatment, and what have you? The working group has the mandate to investigate cases of deprivation of liberty imposed arbitrarily and inconsistently with international standard set forth in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights or international instrument accepted by the state concerned. That is what this working group is all about. The working group investigates alleged cases of arbitrary detention, like in the case of thousands of Biafrans, including Nnamdi Kanu. They do this by sending urgent appeal and communications to concerned government, just like they have done to Nigeria, to clarify and or bring the attention of these cases, which they did to Nigeria. They gave Nigeria 6 months. The working group also considers individual complaint. So as you are, like those families that Nigeria have killed, murdered their relative, they can also individually file complaint directly to this particular group. Under its regular communication procedure, leading to the adoption of opinions. So when you file this complaint, they give opinions as to the arbitrariness of this detention. In addition, the working group conducts country visits to assess the situation of deprivation of liberty in the country. That is the primary objective of this working group on arbitrary detention that gave Nigeria 6 months to release Nnamdi Kanu and also fine Nigeria to compensate Nnamdi Kanu monetarily. Nigeria violated this opinion of the working group, which is a direct violation of the United Nations Charter on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which Nigeria also assented and signed into their own law and accepted. They will abide by these rules and regulations that makes you stand firm in the Committee of Nations. So any country that is violating this kind of laws with impunity have lost every legitimacy, including within the United Nations. And this same Nigeria was at the UN General Assembly seeking to become a permanent member. A permanent member of organization that you violate their own laws and treaties. My fellow Biafrans, I just want you to have a little background knowledge about what I'm about to explain this evening, why Biafra is bringing an alternative, not just by ratifying the United Nations International Human Rights Treaties at the convention in Finland, but also making sure that we abide by these laws and treaties to make sure we restore peace and order, because that is the only pathway to peace and order in the entire region. Any country that is violating this right with impunity is bringing anarchy, and that is the reason why there is a lot of anarchy in Nigeria, because they do not respect rule of law. They are nomadic, they are Islamic State. The only agenda is Islamic agenda. I will also need to inform you that many Islamic countries did not assent to some of these human rights treaties. And that's exactly the direction Nigeria is going. Or they are already in that direction. So Biafra is an alternative to restore peace and stability in the Sahel and beyond. My fellow Biafrans that are listening to me today, I want you to understand that there are some of these, at least you are going to hear from me, some of these international human rights treaties of the United Nations that Biafra government will be rectifying during the convention of the Biafra in Finland. My fellow Biafrans, you may need to understand the concept of these treaties and what it bounds to do. What are the indicators of these treaties, which will become one of the backbone of the Biafra government as we pursue the recognition of the government of Biafra after the convention, after the declaration of the restoration of independence of Biafra, and we have formed a legal document from the convention, and this ratification of treaties will form a major part of the document that the Biafra government will form during the convention in Finland. So the indicator referred to as a state, that consent, a state consent to be bound by the human rights treaties under international law. So when you as a state consent to this international treaty, you are bound. You are bound by those treaties to make sure that you stand by that treaties, and by doing so, you restore peace and stability in your country and in your region. The reason for the insecurity today, apart from the kidnap of Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria violated that particular treaty. They did not bound by it. So what is the rationale? When a state ratifies one of the international human rights treaty, it assumes a legal obligation to implement the right recognized in that treaty. Do you understand the word? When a state ratifies, like Nigeria ratifies this law, Nigeria, if it's supposed to be a country, under international human rights treaty, Nigeria assumes legal obligation, obliged to implement the rights recognized in that treaty. And what are these rights? Do not commit the crime of kidnapping people. Do not commit the crime of arbitrarily detaining people. Do not commit the crime of torturing people. Do not commit the crime of depriving people their liberty. Nigeria have committed all this crime against the Biafran people, especially Nnamdi Kanu. And they are still standing on this crime that if heaven is going to fall, let it fall. That's where we are today. We are still settling the matter. Now, through ratification, states undertake to put in place domestic measures and legislation compatible with their treaty obligation. The state also commit to submitting regular report on how the rights are being implemented to the monitoring committee set up under the treaty. Now, how can Nigeria now submit a report on how they are implementing this right, which they signed into, by arbitrarily detaining Nnamdi Kanu, detaining thousands of Biafrans illegally? So they are going to write a report that, oh, you know, Biafrans are agitating, so we catch them, we kidnap some of them, we distribute them to different parts of northern Nigeria, and they are not going to court. As a matter of fact, we have thousands of Biafrans inside the prison, and there is no trial, and some of them have been there for 20 years. And they will write, is that the report they're going to write to the United Nations? In accordance with the treaty Nigeria signed? The answer is no. They can't even write a report, not to talk of writing what they are doing. So Biafra is coming to ratify these particular treaties and provide solution and alternative to Nigeria. That's what we're doing, to make sure we safeguard the life of our people, and no sane human being can have a contrary opinion or go against Biafra becoming a nation, in order to restore peace and stability in the entire Sahel region by following this particular rules and regulation of the international law. So you see, the reason we are sacrificing everything, taking the risk we are taking, is for humanity. So everybody can at least enjoy some level of peace. Now, this particular concept of the international treaties mandate the state to also commit to submitting regular report on how the rights are being implemented to the monitoring committee set up under the treaty. Who are this committee? The working group is part of the committee set up by this particular treaty. The committee that have mandated Nigeria to release Nnamdi Kanu, not only Nnamdi Kanu, but his own case is more of, getting an international attention. Now, this committee, Nigeria, for ratifying this particular treaty, is mandated to submit a report to this committee that they are snubbed, violated their own ultimatum with impunity. So which face would Nigeria use to challenge the Biafra government when we are here to say enough is enough with your impunity, enough is enough with your supporting of terrorism? We are not even talking about them funding terrorism, giving them guns and arms to fight and kill indigenous people to take over their land in the name of Islamic State. We are not even talking about that yet. We are talking about only the arbitrary detention of innocent citizens, so-called innocent citizens, arbitrary detention of those who were exercising their right protected under this United Nations treaty. That is what we are still addressing. We are not addressing their terrorism and how they are killing people, extrajudicial killings and all that. No, we are only talking about this particular detention of innocent people. How Nigeria violates this law with impunity that lead to the anarchy that you see today. Because the solution to prevent anarchy, to prevent instability, has been laid down in all these principles and treaties that we are going to assent to. And once you begin to violate it, you are opening and creating a loophole for anarchy to come in, because people are going to resist you. When you violate people's rights, using gun and bullet, think you can use them to suppress them for a long time? No, at a point they will fight back. And that is why I am leading the fighting back against Nigeria today. And I will stand anywhere, anytime in the world to defend how I am leading the pushback to fight against the terrorist state of Nigeria with our guns and bullets. What is the concept of this treaty? A state party to a treaty is a state that has expressed consent by an act of ratification, accession, or succession, and where the treaty has entered into force, or a state about to become a party after formal reception by the United Nations Secretary of the state decision to be a party. A signatory to a treaty is a state that provided a preliminary endorsement of the instrument and its intent to examine the treaty domestically and consider ratifying it. No action means that a state did not express its consent. Nigeria expressed its consent in ratifying these treaties that they are now violating, and Biafra is the only alternative to bring to an end to the impunity. No, so my brother Biafra people, I want to quickly inform the entire Biafra people some of the international human rights treaty under the United Nations that Biafra government will ratify through the convention in Finland on the 2nd of December. I want to inform you, we are not only declaring the restoration of Biafra on the 2nd of December, but we are also ratifying the United Nations international human rights treaties and become party to these treaties to abide by these rules and regulations in order to restore peace and stability. Nigeria have not done that for decades. We are going to provide that solution. So, on this note, the Biafra people will gather in the convention alongside with many observers that will be coming from all over the world to observe the convention of the Biafra government, both in the homeland and in diaspora in exile. On that day, Biafra will ratify the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, which was adopted in 1965. On the 2nd of December 2024, as we declare the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra, Biafra will ratify the United Nations International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which was found in 1966. My fellow Biafrans and the good people of the world that are listening and are very, very sympathetic to the cause of Biafra people, I want you to understand that Biafra will be the beginning of civilization in Africa. We have suffered enough. Our people have been killed, and those who made it alive today should go and thank their God that they are alive to witness this particular history that we are making in this generation. On the 2nd of December 2024, that historic day, Biafra will ratify the United Nations International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. My fellow Biafrans, I want you to understand what we are doing. For those who think that this is a joke, you will understand after 2nd of December. My fellow Biafrans, on 2nd of December, the Biafra government will ratify and assent to the United Nations Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, which came into force in 1984. On the 2nd of December 2024, Biafra government will assent and ratify the United Nations Convention on the Right of Child, which came into force in 1989. We are laying this foundation for those who do not understand how Biafra will restore stability in the entire region, to understand that only by the rule of law that sanity will return to the region of the West Africa, largest resources. On the 2nd of December 2024, during the convention that will shape the history of Africa, Biafra government will assent and ratify the United Nations International Convention on the Protection of Rights of all migrant workers and members of their families, which came into force in 1990. My fellow Biafrans, on the 2nd of December, we are not just only declaring the restoration of independence state of Biafra to raise a legal document, but we are also assenting as a government, ratifying the United Nations International Convention for Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance. Today, Nigeria is known for enforcing the disappearance of those who criticize it, who criticize the government, those who criticize the leaders, those who criticize officials. They enforce their disappearance. Just a few days ago, we listened to one of the lawmakers bragging to a taxi driver how he can make him disappear and nobody will talk about him anymore. It happens. Thousands of people have disappeared as a result of them criticizing the government officials. While Nigeria was party to this treaty, they encourage and use their law enforcement agencies to violate it. Biafra is bringing alternative. How can you come against the Biafra government? We are people that embrace the future and innovation. So we are going to abide by this international covenant, international law, and international treaty, making sure that it is a pathway to restore peace and stability. On the 2nd of December 2024, the Biafra government will not only declare the restoration of independence state of Biafra to restore peace and stability in the Sahel region, but we are also going to assent and ratify the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. My fellow Biafrans, on the 2nd of December, when you hear them say December 2nd will come, a lot is going to happen that day. It's going to be one of the most important days in the history of humankind. The Biafra government, during this convention on the 2nd of December, will ratify and assent to the United Nations optional protocol to the Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. My fellow Biafrans, on that same day, 2nd of December, the Biafra government will also ratify and assent up to the optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. My fellow Biafra people and the lovers of freedom across the world, we are solidifying the legal document that will form the pathway to the recognition of the Biafra as a government, as a state, and then also to bring in lasting peace to the already deteriorating security situation in the Sahel and in the region of the eastern part of Nigeria called Biafra. My fellow Biafrans, on the 2nd of December, the Biafra government will be ratifying and assenting to the United Nations second optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And our aim is the abolition of the death penalty. This particular convention aiming at the abolition of death penalty, Biafra government will assent and ratify this treaty. In Finland, where I live, which we have taken models from the Constitution and many structure of the government, we do not have death penalty. And here, everybody is enjoying, and the government is working for the people. Crime rate is very low. My fellow Biafran, on the 2nd of December, the Biafra government, during the convention, will ratify and assent to the United Nations Optional Protocol to the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, which came into force in 1999. The Biafra government will ratify and assent to this convention and treaty. My fellow Biafran, the Biafra government, under my leadership as a prime minister, during the convention in Finland on the 2nd of December 2024, will also ratify and assent to the United Nations Optional Protocol to the Convention on the Right of the Child on the Involvement of Children in Armed Conflict. We will ratify this treaty and abide by it, not like the Nigeria terrorist state are doing in the northern Nigeria. On this 2nd of December 2024, as we declare raising a document for the restoration of independence of Biafra, the Biafra government will ratify and consent to the United Nations Optional Protocol to the Convention on the Right of Child, on the sales of children, child prostitution, and child pornography. Like under Nigeria, these are not crimes. Why Nigeria assent and sign into these particular treaties, they do not even know the value. They do not know the value in the society. They do not know how it helped to shape in society to become a better society like you have in Europe. Like one of the criminals in IPOB, Nigeria, was surprised why Simon Ekpa is making all these utterances in the name of fighting Biafra and nobody is disturbing him. But his uncle shared a nude of a child in Germany, and he has been in the court for the past 5 years. As a Nigerian criminal, this man does not understand that sharing any child pornography is a serious crime. And here is where that particular law was derived from. Under this particular treaty, under the United Nations, the optional protocol to the Convention on the Right of the Child on the Sales of Children and Child Prostitution and Child Pornography. He didn't know it's a crime because he is a product of Nigeria. So Nigeria does not respect international law, and that is the reason. That is one of the reasons there are anarchy, insecurity, and all manner of atrocities in Nigeria, and they do not see most of these things as crime. So they come to Europe, they commit these crimes, and they are wondering why police is after them. We will ratify these laws, teach the people what is right and wrong, and make our society a sane and more saner place to live. My fellow Biafrans, on the 2nd of December, alongside other dignitaries that will embrace our convention all over the world, they will witness and observe the Biafra government assent and ratifying the United Nations Optional Protocol to the Convention on the Right of Child on a communication procedure. We will also, on that 2nd of December, ratify the United Nations Optional Protocol on the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, and Degrading Treatment or Punishment. The Biafra government will not only do consent to all these protocols, convention, and optional protocols of the United Nations, but also we are going to ratify the United Nations Optional Protocol to the Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. I want you to understand that there are many international instruments that the Biafra government will consent to, and make sure we uphold this treaty, not just consenting and ratifying it like Nigeria did and other Islamic terrorist states, but we are going to make sure that we follow these particular laws, because it is the only pathway to peace. Once you uphold this law, the rule of law, and abide by the treaties, it is actually shaping to restore peace, stability, tranquility, and all manner of harmony that you can enjoy as a nation. That's the difference between the Europe and Africa. And like I said, because we have come here, there is no other tribe, there is no other nation in the world that is widely traveled like the Biafra people. And not only that we are traveled, we are also in the government in different countries of our residence. We participate in the nation building, and we have learned a lot, and we want to now bring it to build our nation, to make it the beginning of civilization in Africa. I want to stop here because of time. So I will be taking questions, especially from people who wish to ask questions. And even though I have a limited time, but now you have at least a glimpse of the kind of things we are doing or we are going to do during the convention. It is not just about declaring Biafra restoration and all that. The aim of and objective of this convention is to raise this legal document that we are going to use to pursue the recognition of Biafra as a state. And this is one of the pillars of doing that, is by ratifying the United Nations international human rights treaties and getting ready to abide by these rules and regulations in order to restore peace and stability in our region, in our country, and in our state. Thank you very much, the media team. Over to you, Raphael. I have given you a co-host, so Success, you can continue from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Prime Minister. And good evening, fellow Biafrans. All protocols do observe here. All ministers of the Biafran Republic government in exile and the de facto government in homeland, you are welcome to this very press briefing by our Prime Minister, making bold of our steps ahead of 2nd of December. And as you can just hear from him, it is not just go to Finland and make a declaration, then raise a document, start sending to countries for recognition, but also to be part of the legal binding force that binds other nations, which made that very singular forum called United Nations. And there are a whole lot of it, as he has named them here, which Nigeria was in a hurry to become part of. They don't read the treaties, they don't read the agreements, they never read the backgrounds of what they're about to sign. They already signed it because they want to be part of the United Nations and also make part of the United Nations Security Council. And back home, they are disobeying the treaties they sign, which also form the nucleus part of their own constitutions. The centerpiece of their constitution is deriving from all these rights named by our Prime Minister this evening, and they don't even respect their own constitutions. How do they respect an international treaties, which they never read the background? So, according to our Prime Minister, he has assured us that we shall be part of all these agreements and treaties and bring first-hand civilization in Africa, not only Sahel, but in the whole of Africa, because it is only us that can be able to obligate and make this possible. So, Prime Minister, thank you very much. I know the 2nd of December is going to be whole lots of power-packed activities, which shall appear to the world as a surprise. Thank you very much. Deputy Minister of Communication, Mazi Raf Ajare. Welcome, sir, and unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good evening, sir. Good evening, my Prime Minister. Good evening, fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom. You're all welcome to this wonderful occasion of being with our Prime Minister to receive the blessings of Biafra, and we can see how far we are going. And obviously, we are very close home. We are very close home, and I give Chuko Kabiam and the glory. Thank you so much, success, and everyone that is in this space. Please, Prime Minister wants to engage every one of us. As you have listened to all that he has said, please, based on what he just discussed, please bring your questions and go straight to the point. As the hands are being raised, I will respond to you accordingly. Please, as you will finish your questions, you just go down to listening mode so that the next person will be able to come up. First on this space will be Triple M. Triple M, please unmute yourself. You have at least 1 or 2 minutes to bring your questions and make it
All right.
snappy.
All right. Thank you very much, Pastor Van Van Van, Honorable Pastor Van Van. Thank you, my fellow Biafrans all over the world. Thank you, my indisputtable Prime Minister. We appreciate you so much. But I won't say that is a question. We just applaud you because you make you renew the quality and the pride of the Biafrans in that so-called, in fact, all over the world, not only in the zoo. But I just want to ask you this question. I know it's not in line with what we are discussing actually, but is with regards of what the criminal OBJ said during the time they captured our leader, they kidnapped him. So he made a statement that they made a very big mistake. The guy in Finland is more deadlier than the person they captured. Now, my question is this: were you in anywhere have something to do with OBJ for him to make that statement, or he had went underground because he's a criminal, he's a bony man? Because sometimes you do tell the criminal IPOB Nigerians before you fight me, go to your village, kick out to your gods or whomsoever to tell you who you are. So my question is, do you in any way have something to do with OBJ before he made that statement? Thank you, my Prime Minister. I appreciate it.
I have nothing to do with OBJ, and I will never have anything to do with him. He knows what I know, and I knows what he knows.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. How about OBJ?
Anuka Kampi.
Goodness. Okay, move on.
I don't even
Thank you.
understand there.
There won't. Do you have any question for the Prime Minister? Please use the privilege of your voice out to ask, please. Go ahead.
Biafra na vuna na bato bie no way. Anu kankan bidike ukolo mwa. Obisi na buogidile. Oke mwa. Obato bie. Eza batado bindewo.
There.
Okay, they just have eulogies for the Prime Minister, and that suits our PM because we are really blessed to have you, sir. And honestly, you don't understand how blessed we are with what you have done for us and what you're doing. We give God the glory and we appreciate you, sir. All right, moving forward, we have Radiant Black. Radiant Black, please unmute yourself. You've got 1 minute, at most 2, to bring your question. Very engaging one, please, to the Prime Minister. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be among this, struggle. I must say thank you, my PMB. And I don't have much question. I just want to use this 1 minute to thank my PMB and all the force behind him today. I'm one of the happiest person in the world today. I must tell you, because of this my Odogu PMB number 1. So I thank the co-host and the ministers. You people are doing very fantastically well. I'm very excited. So we in the homeland will continue to support you. People in the abroad will continue to support you because you are doing the right thing. So we are going there. Everything you are doing is on Abaya. Thank you very much. That is what I
Thank
have.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, I want you guys to understand that at the level where we are now, we are engaging at a very high level, the topmost level of this particular movement. And you can see where we have gotten to. So we need more engaging questions. Ask the Prime Minister that question that is very hard. Just reduce some of the, thanksgiving and the appreciation. We know that you all are happy and excited. I want to just stay here and thank him and appreciate him. But he wants us to ask him questions that the world will know how ready we are. Please, if you're raising your hand, raise it because you have a question for the Prime Minister. And those of you that are still requesting, please make sure you have a question. Thank you very much. We move. We have Kama Israel. Kama Israel, please unmute yourself and bring that engaging question for the Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, our able minister. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Honorable PM. Thank you so much for always coming out to engage with your people. We appreciate you for that. My question is something that's been popping up on different platforms, and I believe you're the one to give us the answer. Some people are asking about the dress code for the 5 days program, and I think you can give us an idea so that I can just take the voice to the platform so that people will know exactly what to do. Thank you, sir.
Prime Minister, is that a question you would like to respond to, sir?
Yeah, the dress code, it remains the same like last year. It's Western style, black suit, black dress for women, and Western style, black, blue. So there is no traditional wear there. But you can come with traditional wear, and we will inform you through the various, group that will be created for this particular event, for this particular convention. If there is need for traditional wear, you'll be notified. But everybody must come with, Western style, just like last year. If you come with a traditional wear, you may not be allowed entrance into the convention. It's very important. You must learn how to abide by rules and regulations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next one, is there anything like a dinner night again on this convention, sir?
I don't know if you are part of the if you are coming, you should get that information from the organizing committee.
Thank you, sir.
Kama Israel, thank you very much. We move. My Prime Minister, I also want to ask a question because you keep us dumbfounded every time as events are unfolding. I want to ask you, sir. You have always been telling us when Biafra will come. We will sleep in Nigeria and wake up in Biafra. And with the unfolding events, we see things playing out exactly the way you have, been saying it. And just suddenly, the emergence of Donald Trump, who happened to be the good guy for the United States of America, and you also happen to be the good guy for the United States of Biafra. And both of you with the interest of your people at heart. And this is happening like it is happening in the same season at the same time. And is it that you saw these things through your crystal ball, or is it that the puzzles are just falling into place? Because I know that the lines are falling for us in pleasant places, and it's just getting very, very interesting. How did you come to know all these things? Is it that you saw it before time, or is it just that you knew it will all happen like this? We're just dumbfounded. Please, can you just tell us a little bit, sir?
There is nothing I have said that didn't come to pass. The only thing that I'm waiting for is this Biafra to become an independent state. That is the only thing I have said that is yet to happen. But we are on the process of making it a reality. So When I joined, everybody knows that I said I will never be part of this more than 5 years, and Biafra will come. So when I was saying I know the date was Biafra, I think that should have actually gives many of you some kind of sense of, articulating. If I have said from the beginning that I will not fight this more than 5 years and Biafra will come, you should know that I know exactly what I'm doing.
Wow. Wow. Honestly, we give Chukwu Kadama the glory, and you're just the man for the job, the new sheriff in town, and we can't settle for less. We are so happy. Please,
God told me, pronounce it and I will make it a reality.
Wow.
Ukala mmụọ na-apụ apụ ka ịwụ nna m jisike Chukwu gọzie gị
honestly, thank you, Adandegede. Please, Mazi Success, just know that if you have you want to interrupt me, just go ahead at any given time. You are always welcome, sir.
There's no problem. Just go ahead. I'm listening.
Sir. Okay, sir. All right, we move. Mazi Onyeka, please grab the mic and let's hear you.
Thank you for having me. All protocol duly and humbly observed. More jog. Agaba do. My question is this: today, I was engaged with some poorly informed Biafrans in a conversation regarding the convention, and one of them raised the question that only the international community have the right to declare Biafra. Say you are poorly informed. That our Biafran people have the right to give mandates to our prime minister to declare Biafra and wait for international community to recognize, countries to recognize. And we don't need much. So I want to be sure that my answer I gave him is correct. After the declaration of Biafra, which the Biafra people have given you the mandate to do so, after the declaration on December 2nd, how many countries we need for recognition before we can be a sovereign state? That is my question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You answered correctly.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But let me tell you, it is not about how many countries that you need. You can have all the countries in this world and they still don't have your freedom. Okay. You can be recognized by 20 countries and still you don't have freedom. You know why?
No, sir.
Because there are countries that once they say yes, others follow. And there are countries that when they say yes, others will not follow. And if they say no, even if you like, carry everybody along with you, you will never go anywhere. And that country is America. That is why it is very important that we educate the foreign policy makers and decision makers in the United States to understand that Biafra will be the solution to the instability that they have pumped billions of dollars for many years in the Sahel and beyond. So Biafra, we are presenting Biafra as a solution, which is exactly what it is. That's why we focus on educating them. Now, in the past, they will tell you there is nothing to show that you are actually, somebody is making noise. Can you stay muted, please?
Please, whose mic is open? Onyeka, mute your mic while you are listening to the PM, please.
In the past, all you do is noise, agitating without a structure, agitating without a foundation, agitating, just making noise, political pressure group. So nobody will take you serious. But they know that indeed Nigeria is not designed to provide the kind of solution that will put a stop to all the things going on in that region and beyond. So there is need for an alternative. But all the people that are bringing this alternative have not demonstrated the readiness to take that particular responsibility. So that's what we have done differently. So you need America. Once America goes, every other person follows. You will agree with me that during the Biafra civil and genocidal war, we have 4 to 5 country recognition. Did it give us independence? The answer is no. Did it make the United Nations recognize Biafra? The answer is no. But we have 4. And these 4 countries, or 5, are all members of the United Nations. It didn't give us the recognition. But had it been that America recognized Biafra, which they were actually about to, but because there were no foundation. When I mean foundation, I mean the kind of foundation that we have today, representation in the United States. A visible and good representation in the United States like we have it now. It does not exist. It didn't exist then. So there was no representation. But Nigeria is present in the US, so they know whatever that was going on, but Biafra doesn't have privilege to those information. So when America was turning its back on Nigeria, they begin to pressure the Biafra side to embrace peace and give up the fight. So it was actually a scam that Gowon did to Effiong, because Effiong did not know what America was thinking, because there was no representation. Today we have representation and we have voice, and in Washington, D.C. We have voice in the Congress, and that's exactly what we will continue to educate them in the Congress to understand that that particular problem of 1960 has tripled, and there is a need to put a stop to it. Not only for the interest of Biafra, but for the interest of the United States and for the interest of the West, which will be in turn benefit Africa. So it is a win-win for everybody. How will you not abide and agree by that? So my brother, what we are doing in Finland is to generate this legal instrument, legal document. Like if you have been listening from the beginning, I was mentioning some of the international treaties, human rights treaties, the United Nations human rights treaties and convention that we are going to ratify and assent in Finland during the convention to be a backbone for this legal document, including the result of the self-referendum, including the declaration document, including the constitution of Biafra people, and many other things that will be adopted. This whole thing will form the legal backbone and the legal document for Biafra government to pursue the recognition from the top, from the United States Congress, United States Department, and we educate them until they understand that Biafra is the only solution. As that is happening, we'll continue the eviction of Nigeria in Biafra land. Nigeria can never survive me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Prime Minister Mogvisto Ebos.
Thank you. That question that got our PM to respond, and the whole world is watching. Thank you. All right, please, those of you that are in the space as a speaker, you need to raise your hands. When we finish attending to the hands that are up, we will change the room with those that are waiting to come in.
Thank you very much, my honorable minister. I hope I'm coming out loud and clear.
Go ahead, my.
All right, thank you very much. I will ask a brief question. First, let me greet my Prime Minister, His Excellency Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, for all the Biafran people. I am Anisoko and Urubu speaking Biafra, and I am proud of my Prime Minister. I am proud of my Biafra. And before I go forward, let me say,
Do you see this, my son, as I say, after you have done what you do best? Do you see satisfaction on our faces as you dey fight for us to be free? You don't think it's much, but to us it means the world. We wake up every morning and wish you were there. You don't have to lie to gain our trust. You will always have your people trust. We always love you, Simon Ekpa. Your every contribution makes our lives a little bit safer every day. You are the hero. You are the hero. Thank you very much, my Prime Minister. That is a song from my mentor, Lucky Dube. I just changed some of the wordings and I feel like I should do it for you. My question is very simple, sir. Like from the beginning, you made your submission and you told us about some of the international treaties that we are going to assent to. And you made us understand that Nigeria even assented to some of these treaties. So my question is, when a country or a nation that is part of this treaty that assented to these treaties break them, you see that the international community doesn't have the power to punish that nation because here in Nigeria, most of these treaties have been broken by Nigeria. And my second question is, how do you know that Donald Trump is going to be the next president? Because before campaign, you were the one that said Donald Trump is going to be the next. And we followed you. To my amazement, 2 days ago, Donald Trump is today a president. What is happening, sir? Because sometimes when you make some exposition, I will be scared that this our prime minister no go put us for trouble one day. You understand? At the end of the day, what you talk will come to pass. What is happening, sir? Thank you very much. I am Regent Siri from Isoko speaking, Biafra.
Thank you very much. As you know, I'm a very strong Christian. And I believe in God. So that is what we call divine mandate. When you are in a divine mandate, everything you do works for you. Even if they are against you, they will turn and work for you. And that's why I said, God told me, pronounce it, and I shall bring it to reality. If you watch, that is not to say when I was a Nigerian, when I was in Nigeria, Nigeria is never something that God favors. You see all their nonsense pastors, they will be making nonsense predictions saying they are doing prophecy. They will tell you one thing, and if it mistakenly falls into that, they will be using it to share to their congregation. You see, I said it. Our own, consecutively, I talked about our prime minister in Finland. He became the prime minister. I supported him. I talked about our president in Finland. He became the president. I supported him. I told you the next is Trump. I supported Trump. I was one of the first person that endorsed Trump as far back as 2023. And it is on Google. It is on Wikipedia. If you go to the list of those that international politicians that endorsed Donald Trump, go to international politician, my name is there on the list as people that endorsed Donald. It is in the media. You can search and Google it. It's in news. Nigerian news reported it. Some international media reported it. My endorsement on Donald Trump. I believe that because I am on a divine mandate, so God direct me how and what to do and when to do it. Not like when you are in Nigeria, you are fighting a wrong fight. If you are predicting on behalf of Nigeria, you are in the wrong side. Every of your prediction will fail. So when you are in the right path, and in the right mandate, everything will fall into place. Now, just check it from the beginning till now. There is nothing I have said that I have not had, including the kissing of dust of our enemies. They are falling one after the other. You may also understand that the one that I posted the picture a few days ago, the criminal Ejiofor have confirmed, is a native doctor to Ejiofor. He's the one doing all the juju for Ejiofor in Anambra. They call him Odanike. He was the commander of ESN. They recruited him immediately the same as Nnamdi Kanu. He became an Ebubago person, become AVG commander in Anambra, killing our people. Today, he's gone. Now, I tell you that many of them will go down before December 2nd. So what I'm trying to say, to answer your question, is that I am on a divine mandate. It is not just about Trump. Trump is a president. Trump is not going to single-handedly make decision on Biafra. That is why we started by educating the congressmen. That's why we started by educating them, and now we are moving to the United States Department of State to educate them on the importance of Biafra. So there is still a lot of work to do. But you know, the beginning of the work will even start more immediately after the December 2nd, because we need to have this legal document to be able to be ready ahead of what is to come. So a lot of work needs to be done, and we are doing that. So Donald Trump is just President Donald Trump. You know, is not he's not going to come out and say, okay, I give you Biafra. No, it requires procedures, processes, and many things need to be done, which we are doing very, very well. So that's why they will always tell you, follow who know road. Some people don't even know what it means. If you do not follow who know road, they will lead you to your, I don't know what it's called, but maybe you go inside the evil forest and you never come out again. We know road, and that's why we're leading Biafrans to freedom. So this foundation we have laid today, you can see where we are today. You can see for the past many decades of Biafra issue, nobody has ever in the public discussed with anybody in the Congress, except now that the Biafra government, under my leadership, we just started. And on the 2nd of December, which is just few weeks from now, you are going to see the caliber of people that will be in the Biafra Convention in Finland. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And that I think you have answered my second question, which I would have loved to ask that. Being that you were the first to endorse Donald Trump, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in Homeland and the de facto government in Homeland, being that you are the first to endorse Donald Trump, how does it affect? How does it contribute to our freedom? But I think you've answered that. And let me use the mic by saying, Simon Ekpa for my radio fra. Simon Ekpa for my no jano. Simon Ekpa for my for my roof for my Simon Ekpa for my. Thank you very much, sir. I yield.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich.